Hey guys, it's March Canning Madness. I'm Vicky. Welcome to this Jersey Girl's home. Let's get to work. We have a lot to work with. Last night I pulled out fruit, tomato sauce, well, four of these containers, and I just pulled out 3 more from the freezer. We are going to get dinner ready because after a huge canning day, we are not going to want to start worrying about dinner. So let's get that in the crock pot and then we can move forward with our canning spree. While I work on getting my dinner prepped, I'm going to make a chuck roast in the crock pot. I wanted to talk about March Canning Madness. This is an open collaboration that I joined. Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread is hosting. I will put her link to her website below in the descriptions. And she is giving out prizes. March Canning Madness is going to consist of a lot of canning videos. And this is a great opportunity to get some stuff out of your freezer and into canning things if you still have things in your freezer that you wanted to get used up. And that is exactly what I needed to do. I needed to get some of this fruit that I had in my freezer out, and I needed to get the rest of the tomato sauce dealt with from last year's garden before the new season starts, because once that season starts, I will be very busy outside. And then as soon as I come back in, it is going to be another canning madness. So to make room in my freezer right now this is the perfect opportunity. And today we're going to work on 2 recipes that include fruit. And the first one is going to be maraschino cherries. And the second one is going to be raspberry jam. So back to March Canning Madness. You will be able to win a prize if you would like. And it's very simple. Just watch this video and comment below. By commenting, you have just entered the contest for free. And it is open to anyone in the USA. And you can also comment if you do not want to participate. That is fine too. You don't have to, you just ignore the winning thing if that's what if you don't want the prize. But anyway, the winner will receive a brand new steam canner and a PrepWorks canning toolkit. So like I said, you can enter by commenting on the video, and if you don't want to participate, no worries. The giveaway is not associated or affiliated with YouTube. YouTube is not a sponsor, and the winner will be chosen using a random picking tool. Cosmopolitan Cornbread will announce the winner at the end of March, and then you will have 7 days to claim your prize. If you don't respond within that 7 days, your prize will automatically be forfeited. So if you're hoping to win the prize, make sure you pay attention. She will reach out to you through your comments, and please, please, please be aware of spammers. We do not want you getting scammed. So do not respond to anyone that is not, if it is not her from her YouTube channel. Make sure that you check the commenter and make sure that it is the correct person before you respond. She will not ask you for money on anything, no shipping fees, nothing. If you are asked to give out money, that is a scammer. Do not, I repeat, do not respond to them. And we will try to make sure that we pay attention and remove any scam commenting immediately. All right, so let's get back to this video and check out what I am making for dinner. So I'm making a slow-cooked balsamic chuck roast. So I got my 2-pound-ish chuck roast in there. I added a cup of beef broth, a couple cloves of minced garlic, 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, a half a cup of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. This dinner came out really good, and it was nice and easy that I threw it in the slow cooker and didn't have to do much after being on my feet during the day. And all we have to do now is just add some spices. We're going to add some rosemary, salt, it smells so good. Some pepper and some thyme. And that's it. We're going to put this in the crock pot to bake, and that will be set. Cherries! To get this started, we are probably, I think we're going to do the raw pack. Originally I was going to do the hot pack. No, we'll do the hot pack because this is kind of pretty cold. Okay, let's do that. So we need to get syrup made, and we're gonna do the medium syrup, which calls for 3 1/4 cups of sugar to 5 cups water. 1, 2, 3 1/4. You can do a light syrup, but because I'm making maraschino cherries, I'm going to do the medium syrup. And all I'm doing is taking the cherries and syrup recipe in my ball book and making this, but I am adding, let me see where it is, almond extract to my syrup, which is perfectly fine to do. There's no reason to panic about adding almond extract. It is in recipes. It's just a little seasoning. It doesn't affect your water canning option. Water bath canning. 5 cups of water. Here's 4 cups. And then 1 more cup. All right, we're going to get this on the stove and heat this up. All right, while that starts to heat up, I'm going to add water and some vinegar to my canner. I'm going to turn this burner on low so that the water stays hot. Give this another stir. We're waiting for this to get really warm. I'm going to be dumping in these cherries soon. This was just the bag we had in the freezer from Walmart until we could get, because we could not access any cherries from Costco for the longest time. They finally started getting them in this year, at the beginning of this year, so we had stocked up and grabbed a whole bunch of those, but I wanted to use these up first. They're not organic, but that's all right. This is for the sweet maraschino cherries. All right, I think all the sugar in here is dissolve. So I'm gonna get these in because they're pretty cold. I want this all to heat up pretty good so that we don't have cold spots when we put it in the canner. And this bag is 2.5 pounds. All right, so I'm gonna get this going, let this heat up, and once it starts getting more warm, I'm gonna add some almond extract. I'm gonna go look at that recipe for the Danish one and see how much it says to add to that recipe, and then compare it to the amount of ingredients in the one that I'm doing. I think if I add 2 teaspoons to the full batch, I think that is gonna be enough almond extract. That smells really good. I might need to add more cherries because there's not a lot of cherries. So I think I'm gonna have to add some more. Okay, so these are the ones from Costco that we really like. All right, so then I probably added another 3.5 pounds of cherries. Jeez, I like 6 pounds of cherries. Now we're up to that recipe. Now we're talking. We're gonna have a lot of cherries. Nice. Yeah, it says for up to 8 to 10 pounds of cherries. I'm just gonna them the rest of this in. And hopefully I don't have the catastrophe that I had. So it's 6.5 pounds now. Hopefully I don't have the catastrophe I had when I made my strawberry jam. It ended up everywhere. I think I'm gonna change this because as soon as it starts boiling, it's gonna overflow. This is such a big. Let's just use this because then I know it won't overflow. So big. Turn that off. All right, now since I have plenty of room, I'm gonna actually add the rest of this bag. And that's probably like a 1/2 pound to a pound in there. So now we're looking at like 7 pounds. And the recipe calls for 8 to 10 pounds of cherries. So if I really need more, I will add more, but I think that's gonna be fine. It looks like there's enough to go within that liquid that there'll be more than enough. And I'm gonna bring the camera over and show you. It looks pretty cool. Looks delicious. Look how yummy that looks. No red dye. Just cherries, sugar, water, and almond extract. Beautiful. All right, now that our syrup cherry mixture is boiling hot, we are going to get these into nice, clean 1/2 pint jars because I think that's about the amount that we will go through when we pull one out for some nice cherry additions to maybe a hot fudge sundae, ice cream, all kinds of things like that. These are special treat. They have a lot of sugar in them, so it's not like something you'd eat just to get benefits from the cherries. Although the cherries are in there, so you're going to get some of your stuff from there. I had also seen a recipe to make maraschino cherries that was like a 3-day process on one of the canning sites. But I'm glad I did this. This was really tasty. It was really quick and easy. This didn't take that much effort, but you get a whole lot out of it. So I'm putting my cherries and hot syrup in these jars to leaving a 1/2 inch headspace. And then I cleaned up those rims really good because this syrup is super sticky. I'm going to get my lids and bands on, finger tight. And then we're going to get this in the water bath canner with that nice warm, hot water. And once it starts boiling, because we did the hot pack method, we can bring our jars up to 15 minutes, process them for 15 minutes in the water bath canner. If you did the raw pack, you're going to have to process that for 25 minutes. But like I said, we did the hot pack. We boiled it, brought it to a boil before putting it in. So we are good to go for the shorter time. Now I ended up with so many that I needed to fill another, so I got my pressure canner out, and instead of putting the pressure canning lid on and sealing it tight, I'm just going to put a regular big lid on and use that just like I use my water bath canner. This lid fits on here just fine, so I'm just going to put this lid on and bring the heat up and boil the jars. So we have 2 canners going. This one is almost boiling, and as soon as that starts boiling, we will set our timer. Our first pot is now boiling, so that is set for 15 minutes. As soon as the next one goes, that one will get set for 15 minutes. While that's going, I'm going to see what I can prep next. Next on my canning agenda is to get the raspberry jam prepped. So I'm just pureeing these still pretty frozen raspberries to kind of make like a sorbet. I want to make a seedless jam, so I'm trying to break this up as much as possible, and then after I warm it up a bit to make it more liquefied, then I'll be able to put it through a strainer and get it done. Here is our first batch of maraschino cherries. It was so exciting to see this come out so successfully. So to our raspberries, we're going to need 5 cups of sugar, or 7 cups of sugar. And a package of sugar gel. I started saving my old one because people were saying that they were no longer putting them in the new containers, and they did not. There is no recipe in here. I guess you would have to go maybe online. They would have it on their website. Scan the QR code for delicious recipes or go to their website. Okay. 4 raspberry, red raspberry, not black. We need 8 cups of berries or 5 cups crushed. We need our sugar. And this makes 9 cups. And we're gonna stir this into the fruit, bring it to a boil, and then add our sugar. I do want to remove some of the seeds. So right now I'm waiting for my last batch to finish. It is almost done. My first batch, I got 12 half pints of maraschino cherries out of that. And there is more in the next one with some syrup. Guys, there's 20 jars of maraschino cherries and 4 jars of cherry syrup that we had left. Oh my word, that is exciting. What I want to do first is warm this mixture up a bit because it's still pretty frozen. And after I do that, then I'm just gonna kind of try to push it through a sieve to get some of those gigantic seeds out. The stove is pretty hot and this is really cold, so I am not gonna even turn it on yet. I'm just gonna kind of let it melt. It's almost like sorbet or sherbet or whatever. I just want to kind of get it liquidy enough that it would go through my thing. Alright, that should have brought that up some, so I'm just going to put it on simmer just to get it warming up more. I think the seeds are bigger than these holes, so I think I'm going to try using this. Nice and easy to clean and fast to use. All right, so now we're gonna add our pectin, work that in. We want to bring this up to a boil that we can't stir down, and then we will dump our sugar in. You don't want to walk away from this because it will burn if you don't continue to stir. And you don't want your pectin and to remain clumpy. You want that to mix into your fruit. We do have some raspberry plants out back, but we don't have enough raspberries to make raspberry jam. It's been really hard to find like frozen fruit lately. I don't know if it was because of bad crop season last year, but even last summer, like they weren't selling. I could not find frozen raspberries anywhere. And then when I finally did find them, I grabbed them, and now I'm finally getting to making the jam. That looks really good. Now we just need to get it to a boil, and then it will be ready to receive its sugar. We had already distributed that into our bowl so that we can just dump that in. Looking pretty good. There's like hardly any seeds in here. I think I have like 5 seeds in here. So that thing worked really good for this. Now, one thing I can say is that in the recipe thing, it says if you're making a jelly, you only need to process it for 5 minutes. Don't even do that. Always put your minimum at 10 minutes, because 10 minutes in the boiler or 10 minutes in boiling will sterilize your product. So if your jars have any germs or anything in it, they're going to get sterilized by that 10-minute process. Otherwise, if you're doing 5 minutes, you'd have to sterilize your jars, your lids, all those things prior to putting them in. Don't bother. It's 5 more minutes. Just stick to the 10-minute process and you'll be fine. Just use clean jars. It's starting to get pretty warm. No bubbles yet. No boiling though. But you can see all the steam coming out. You can add like a little slab of butter, but I don't. It will help prevent foaming, but we just stir it into our jam and then no one knows the difference, so I just don't bother. But you could. Boy, it's starting to boil, so it won't be long before we can add that sugar in, and when that happens, it's just gonna go like that. All of a sudden, we're gonna be dumping that sugar in fast. All right, see how this bubbling isn't coming down? I stir, it still bubbles. That means it's time to add your sugar. And you're gonna see how the pectin and sugar together changes the appearance of our jam. It's gonna go from that very matte, opaque appearance to a shiny, glossy, translucent. And that is the sugar and the pectin working together. So we want to get all this sugar disintegrated in here and have this liquid boil for 1 minute. I want to get a really good boil so that when it cools down, it will set and not be liquidy. I mean, if you couldn't see the foam, then you'd really see the translucent color much better, but you can see like right in here, the swirls of dark. Be messy making all this sticky. It's so pretty. So the raspberry jam is in the water bath canner right now. We're waiting for it to come up to boil, and then it'll boil for 10 minutes. I think we ended up with 9 half pints. Yesterday, we did maraschino cherries and raspberry jam. We ended up with some just cherry syrup left over from the maraschino cherries. And this can definitely be used up in something. So saving it, because no waste. We do not want waste. All right, so I'm gonna take my bands off of my jars when I put them away because I do not want to have a false seal. So if my jar lid for some reason doesn't stay closed, I want it to pop and stay popped. I don't want it to pop and then close back up, because then when I go to open it, whew, it's gonna be rancid, and you do not want to lose your appetite, right? That would be disgusting. So on to properly putting away yesterday's success. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I can't wait to see you on our next video. We have some more canning to accomplish, so stay tuned for that video as well. Bye.